We're going to go through the first use case, which I try to set up and describe as um, you know allowing someone to share a bunch of content with someone that's external. And typically what most people do is, they'll take a bunch of documents, they'll right click, and they'll actually email the documents to somebody. But the challenge that creates, of course, as we all know, is you have multiple copies floating around. The other problem it creates is that you'll end up with big attachments in your sent items, and if somebody revises it and sends it back to you, now not only do you have multiple copies, but your mailbox starts bloating, right? And as HP, we've of course worked on a cloud-based solution for documents and file sharing. And what we've done is LinkSite is really a product that integrates the cloud with your on-premise worksite software. So in this case, I can right-click and actually say copy to client folder, right, instead of doing a send. And what LinkSite is doing is it's taking one or more documents that I've selected, and it is going to now connect to the cloud and talk to the cloud, which is HP FlowCM, and say, this user would like to upload these documents to the cloud. And if you want, you can certainly rename the documents here so that your clients see a different name. So your clients see a different name from your internal folder names. So in this case, I just put final version in brackets. And if you need to, you could certainly also reorder this stuff, because when you perhaps want to put it into an email, you want to have it in a format that's easy. And the security on the folder that's set up is, of course, we will look at the matter and the internal security, and we can certainly take a lot of that as in terms of who the internal collaborators are. But for external collaborators, you can hit this small light bulb that you see here, and it will actually look through the email correspondence that's in that matter and understand who you've been interacting with on the outside, so the third parties you've been interacting with, and suggest them as external collaborators. So in this case, I can take all of these users, but perhaps accept the AOL.com account because I don't know who they are. I'll add them all as collaborators below, and then I'll say OK. So now I am setting up a shared space within this matter. The shared space is really going to exist in the cloud, but it has some external collaborators in addition to the internal collaborators, and I'm going to publish or copy a set of documents that I'd like these external collaborators to see. As soon as it starts creating the external, it's going to provision the external user accounts, and now it's uploading the documents. And something we've done here, of course, is to make this asynchronous, so you can upload multiple documents as this is going along. And when this is finally done, you will see that click on OK. You want to refresh this matter when it's finally done, and you'll see that now there's a new blue folder within the matter called Enron versus Markham with the client matter number. And when I go into this folder, you'll see that what it contains are the 3 documents that I published, and these were documents from within the matter that I put in there, and some of them are going to be renamed with the final naming convention that I had used, right? And the neat thing about this is everything is being kept within the matter, although all the yellow folders represent internal documents, and the blue folder now represents a collaboration section that you've created in the cloud. And to show you what this looks like from the outside, let me switch to the browser. I'm going to refresh this here, and what you will see is that Enron versus Markham was created, and if I go into that folder, I now have documents there that are published for my clients to see. And if your clients automatically will receive email notifications saying that accounts have been set up, links inviting them to the collaboration space, and then if they don't like too much notification, they can always rely on an activity feed that's built into Flow that constantly tells you what your attorneys have done and what have they updated and what's new for you to review, right? So a lot of those conveniences have been built in here. And certainly, if you need to, as a client interacting with the law firm, you can view the document, you can download a copy if you're allowed to, and you could even version and put the document back there so that the law firm can actually see an updated version of it. And from a LinkSite perspective, what we've really done is we've kept everything within the context of the matter file. So the user never has to leave here. Any interactions that take place between the client and the document, you can view all of that right in the history of any of the worksite clients. So you can see exactly what's going on, who's been touching the document, who's been reading it, have they downloaded it, have they created a new version, etc. And the neat thing about this is that because it's integrated into the client app itself, we'll be able to do a lot of the functions that you've been able to do on worksite documents, like check them out, check them in, version the documents, compare the documents. That tends to be the most important one. So let me show you how you'd version or compare, and how we have the second use case set up, which allows you to share documents really quickly without hassling your client with actually an account to sign up with an account, etc. So in this case, I'm going to pick a few documents again, but in this time, instead of actually setting up a shared collaboration space, perhaps it's a one-off. I simply need to send these documents across. They're too large for email, and I simply want to get them across, but in a secure fashion. And so what I do is I can say send secure link. And what send secure link does is it comes up with a similar dialog, but in this case it's not setting up a shared space. It's saying I will upload these documents for you to the cloud, right? Once I'm done uploading the documents, I can encrypt them or protect them with a password that's your choice, right? And you can set an expiry, perhaps, in terms of an exact date or a duration in terms of how long this will be available. And if you don't want this hanging around out there too long for people to download, you can even set a limit in terms of the number of downloads, right? And once all of this is done, you could and an admin can actually enforce and say, we'll give you, just like everything in the iMan extensions, you'll have the ability to script these dialogues. So if you want to do additional scripting and business logic validation, perhaps if the matters are sensitive, you only want to do this, or whatever the reason might be, you can script these dialogues to your convenience, so that you can enforce additional business rules. And so as you can see, again, the same process is taking place, and this time it has given me a new draft email saying, here are the links that you created that I can now send off to my client. So I'll say Ed White is my client, and I'll say please review, right? And I'll send this off. And to show you what this looks like, again, from a client perspective, if I go to my sent items, I'll simply control click on one of these links to show you what an end user would have received. And when you receive one of these secure links, you'll be prompted, if you're not logged into the system like me, you'll be prompted for credentials, the password to it. If it's within the time frame of the of the link, you'll still have access to it. If not, you'll be told that you'll be turned away in terms of not having access to it. But as soon as you get to it, you get a quick preview of the content itself, what is there, and if you need to, you can download a copy. But the neat thing is, again, unlike most of the other solutions, because this is tightly integrated into Worksite, I can see all my secure send links in my favorites very quickly. And inside my secure sent links, anything I've sent a link to, you can see the history, you can see what's going on. And so here I can see that anonymous, a user who isn't identified because it's simply a secure link, came in to view the document, exactly which location, what date and time, etc. And so what's neat also about LinkSite, like I mentioned earlier, is when you have these spaces, one of the things you can do is you can actually open and edit and revise content right from within applications that you're accustomed to. So right from within file site, desk site, anything that you use today. I'm going to double click on this document, which is actually part of my secure sent links, and show you what I mean by this. So this is the agreement, I believe, that's up there in the cloud, and it's the same agreement I'm opening up here from desk site, and it should be opened in Word. And I'll say new modifications, just for kicks, right? And all I'm going to do is say file, close, and we're going to save this content. And that content got saved and is being put directly back into the cloud in the collaboration space. So this avoids steps in terms of having to upload stuff to a separate cloud, download stuff, keep a copy inside, outside. So I checked it in, and so now you can see me as a user created this, published it, my client looked at it, probably told me they wanted something changed. I went and made a new version, and the client can simply go back to that same link, or you could resend the link to the client. And if I refresh this, I should now see my new modifications, as you can see here, right? So this is how simple we're making it to interact with your clients, whether you want to get an account and identify them and make them part of the matter as deep collaborators, or whether you simply want to do a one-off and send them a secure link, allow them to download content because you didn't want to overburden your attachment, right? It allows you to, get past the email barriers that exist today in terms of attachment size and in terms of limitations, in terms of how you version and track things. And all of this is kept audited within across worksite in the cloud. And so you have a very good audit trail of exactly what's going on with your internal users and external users. And then most importantly, at the end of the day, we've also enabled idle search on top of this. So if I say search documents and I'm searching one of the blue folders in the cloud, I can still do full text searches as well as description searches, etc., to look for content that's in the cloud. So a lot of the legal specific searches that people have been accustomed to with the on-premise software is also available in the cloud. And eventually we'll have this integrated with federated search. So when I say search documents here, I will be searching not only the yellow on-premise folders that you've been accustomed to, but also the blue cloud folder at the same time, which really integrates LinkSite and this notion of external collaboration into matter centricity. Right? So with that, hopefully we've given you a good preview of what LinkSite looks like. Any questions, please shoot me an email. Thanks.